council meeting of March 18th, 2014. Could we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Place your right hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, could you call the roll?
A quorum is present.
Before we have public comment, we have a presentation to Kelso Elementary, Hudnall Elementary School, Worthington Elementary, and Beulah Payne Elementary for the campus-wide recycling program. I'm going to read the proclamations that we're going to present to the students in a moment. And to all those campuses, it is with great pride and pleasure that the Mayor and Council of the City of Inglewood extend heartfelt congratulations for your successful implementation of a campus-wide recycling program presented by the Grades of Green and sponsored by Republic Services. In the fall of 2013, Kelso, Hudnall, Worthington, and Beulah Payne was introduced to the Grades of Green recycling program through the utilization of the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle, along with additional information on the importance of recycling, how to recycle properly, and how recycling benefits the school community and our environment. Through the distribution of blue recycling containers to each classroom, the placement of recycle bins next to trash containers across the campuses, and the implementation of student-led green teams, those campuses were able to reduce their lunchtime trash bag count from 20 bags per day to 13 bags per day on Kelso, a decrease of 35%, and classroom waste was reduced from 9 bags per day to 5 bags per day, a decrease of 44%. At Hudnall, through the distribution of blue recycling containers to each classroom, as well as the placement of recycle bins next to trash containers across the campus, Hudnall was able to reduce their lunchtime trash bag count by 50% per day. Worthington reduced their count from 20 bags per day to 7, which is a decrease of 65%, and Beulah Payne from 12 bags per day to 8 bags per day or less, a decrease of 33%, and classroom waste was reduced from 5 bags per day to 2, a decrease of 60%. Now be it known that the Mayor and Council of the City of Inglewood, California, do hereby salute the principals, teachers, and students of Beulah Payne Elementary, Worthington Elementary, Hudnall Elementary School, and Kelso Elementary School for your successful implementation of the campus-wide recycling program and for being inspired and empowered to protect our environment. Presented the 18th day of March by the Mayor and Council of the City of Inglewood. And we also have Don Harris from Republic. She might want to say a few words as well, but please go ahead.
Yes, thank you. Hi, council members. It's a pleasure to be here today. My name is Allie Buschjager. I'm the Programs and Outreach Manager with Grades of Green. I've had the pleasure of being the program manager for the 4 schools that Mayor Betts spoke about, and it's been such a pleasure to work with these schools. Each of the schools have had a really strong administration who supported recycling from the get-go. These schools were hand-selected by the district representatives to lead this program, to start in-class recycling and be model schools for the other schools in the district to follow after. The most impressive thing about working with these 4 schools has been the student involvement. Each school has started a student green team, and I'm really pleased that today Hudnall's green team and Kelso's green team have been here. They're here to join us to be recognized for their efforts. These students are the ones who take the recyclables from classroom. They empty all the bags from each classroom. They take them to the recycle bin. They assist the plant managers and custodians in managing the recycling. They educate their peers on what can be recycled, and these students have really just risen to the occasion and shown. And I would also love to give a special thank you to Consolidated Disposal, Republic Services, for being our partner and allowing us to work with these 4 schools to introduce a recycling program. With that, I would love to have the students come up and be recognized. Can I bring them up? Is there time for that?
Would you? Well, of course we do. Could we have Ms. Harris come up? She might want to say a few words and then bring the students up. We always like to close with the winners, you know.
Mr. Mayor and Council, I just want to thank you for your time today, and thank you for the opportunity to share our appreciation for Grades of Green and for the schools listed earlier that they have been very engaged in spreading the importance of recycling in the schools, and we want to hold those schools as a model for others in the district so that we can continue to spread the good word and that we can also have the kids to educate the parents once they get home. So thanks again, and thank you to Grades of Green, and we want to bring up the kids.
Thank you, Ms. Harris. Please bring them forward.
Student Green Team leaders, come on front and center. Come on up. And Mr. Mayor, if you don't mind, we've also created special certificates for each student leader that the principals have, and we would love to quickly give each student their certificate, and then if possible, get a photo with the council members.
Okay.
Oh, come right up here, guys. Come right up here. All right, so right here we have Hudnall's Green Team. I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Goolsby, who can recognize each student.
Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Goolsby. I'm the principal of Hutton Elementary School, and I'm honored to be here, and thank you for welcoming our students. What is we have in our chapter? Okay. So the first student I would like to recognize is Sarah Luna. All right. Marlon Harris. Meta Delgado. Marita Huerta, Mikhail Esting, Liniana Ventura, Lene Sparks, Jesse Ramirez, Aldo Vila, Malaya, Kyra Jackson, Montana Lamonius Craig. And finally, our instructor, who's the instructor lead who organizes the students and gives them the time to go down to class and get set up, Ms. Abanangiza. Thank you.
Okay, I think we missed one.
Oh, and you know what? There's a few students from Kelso Elementary who are part of the Kelso Green Team. So I would like to introduce Dr. Coffey, who will recognize the Kelso Green Team students.
We're on it. We're way ahead of you, Mr. Mayor.
That wouldn't be unusual.
I would also like to echo my thanks on behalf of the students and staff of Kelso Elementary School. Mr. Mayor, council members, thank you for recognizing the efforts of these students and staff members, and thank you to Republic Services and Grades of Green for making it possible for us to give these important skills to our young people who are really making a difference every day in reducing the carbon footprint that we have on our planet. We have over 18 student members of Kelso Green Team. Today I have a representative from 5th grade and 6th grade. Representing the 5th grade, Alexander Pete. And representing our 6th grade, Mr. Chris Castro. And lastly, I would also like to recognize one staff member who is indispensable in our recycling program at Kelso. It's truly a collaborative effort between students and staff. It's really a student-driven program. But we wouldn't be able to do it without our awesome plant manager, Mr. Derek Calloway. He's taking a picture of me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Calloway, and thank you all.
All right, so why don't we have all the kids over here underneath the city seal so we can give them the plaques and take a picture under the seal.
Oh yeah, all the teams. Get on over there. I'll get pictures on your phone for you. I want you in these pictures.
We gotta do what we gotta do.
I mean, between those five of them right now. Yeah. No, they changed down. I just don't know if it didn't connect because I apologize because they changed the whole controls. Hopefully they'll figure out that something's just not turned on. Probably doesn't know how to do it.
Okay, so any persons wishing to address the city council on any item, oh, there are more presentations? Oh, my God. Oh, we have a presentation by the University of Southern California Keck School of Medicine, African American Eye Disease Study. Could you come forward, please, and identify yourself?
Okay, before or after the pictures?
Good afternoon, Mayor and members of the City Council. Thank you for having me here. My name is Mina Torres, and on behalf of Dr. Rohit Varma, who is Principal Investigator and Chair of the Department of Ophthalmology of USC, I'd like to introduce to you the African American Eye Study, also known as APHITS. APHITS is a population-based study funded by the National Eye Institute. APHITS will help determine the prevalence and causes of visual impairment, blindness, and eye conditions such as cataracts, diabetic retinopathy, which is a complication of diabetes, and glaucoma. This study is important because our findings may open future doors to programs that can help reduce and prevent blindness in adults. The goal of APHITS is to provide free, comprehensive eye examinations to over 6,000 residents in the city of Inglewood in the next 3 to 4 years. In the next few weeks, we will have a group of interviewers in the community visiting residents in their homes to determine if they are eligible and willing to participate. We will then invite them to come to our local clinic in Inglewood, which is staffed by our USC ophthalmologists and ophthalmic technicians, to receive a free comprehensive eye exam. At the end of the examination, we will also provide the participant with a summary report of their results to take to their personal physician or eye doctor for follow-up. We hope to participate in your future health fairs, community events, to be able to bring back to the residents some more information and to also answer any questions that they may have. We would also like to distribute flyers to the schools and to the businesses, again, to provide some more awareness about our study. After completing our study in the next 4 years, we would like to come back and share with you our findings. Again, I also like to thank you for having me here, and we are very excited to bring the study into your community.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions that I may answer at this point?
I think you were comprehensive.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We have a presentation by Golden State Water.
Mayor, good afternoon, Mayor Butts, honorable council members, and, whoops, does that, just, sorry, just so used to.
You're far too tall, sir.
Yeah, I know. There we go. That'll work. I guess I'll just belt it out. Good afternoon, Mayor Butts, honorable council members, distinguished city staff. I'm here today to share with you just a brief overview of Golden State Water Company's proposed rate case application. We're going to be submitting that to the California Public Utilities Commission here in the next several months. So today's presentation is the first of 2 presentations. This is an overview, so it doesn't have numbers, but the next presentation will have some specific numbers with regard to our proposed rate increase. So today is just an opportunity to kind of give the council an overview of the process and to allow council to ask questions about this process. So with that, we'll get started.
Okay, before you start, though, it'd probably be helpful for people that watch this presentation on television for them to understand there are 2 water companies that serve the city of Inglewood and give your boundaries so that people will understand who's impacted.
Okay. I have a map in here that actually
3.
shows.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I have a map in here that shows the boundaries, so maybe I can get right to that. Okay. How did I? Oh, it's that one. Okay.
To the right, to the left.
To the left, okay. So we'll go straight to, that's our service area. That's service area. This is the part of Inglewood that we serve, okay? So we have about 3,900 service connections, which translates into about 14,500 customers. To back up a bit, that map shows our service areas in red. We're the Southwest District, so we serve Inglewood plus 7 other cities. That area includes about 175,000 customers. And so Inglewood, the area of Inglewood itself would be in the upper left-hand corner. Unfortunately, it's under where it says the 405 freeway sign there. And that's this area that we actually serve in Inglewood. So if that helps kind of give everybody a geographic feel. So going back to the beginning here, Golden State Water Company is a private company. We are a subsidiary of American States Water. We've been providing water service since 1929, serving 75 cities and 10 counties. That's about 1 million Californians statewide. We operate 38 water systems and service over 2,700 miles of pipeline. Our commitments to our customers are to provide reliable, high-quality water that meets drinking water standards, pressurized and delivered to homes 24/7, replace aging infrastructure, and to modernize our service using new technologies. We provide information to customers through their bills to help them manage their water costs and also to help them conserve water. And also we have a 24-hour customer service center that's open 24/7, 365 during holidays, weekends, so any time of the day or night if they have any issues, they will always get a live voice at our customer service center. And we have our website where people can get more information. A little bit of background. Southern California gets its water from actually 3 sources. At the lower right, you see the Colorado River Aqueduct, which has been the primary source of water for Southern California since 1941. The aqueduct in the center, that's the Los Angeles Aqueduct. That serves exclusively the city of LA In fact, that just celebrated its 100th anniversary last year. This is the aqueduct built by William Mulholland, still functioning as designed. The last major aqueduct is the State Water Project, and that provides about 1.5 million acre-feet per year of water to Southern California. And of those three, in terms of imported water, Southern California derives about 60% of its supply. The remaining 40% is groundwater, which is here pumped locally beneath the groundwater basin here in the West Basin area. Just a little bit about water agency relationships and water supply sources. People always ask me, Fred, how does your agency fit in with all the other wholesalers and so forth? So you see the two sources of water that I mentioned earlier, the Colorado River, Northern California, the Delta water. Those are purchased by the Metropolitan Water District of Southern California. They, in turn, sell that water. They're a regional wholesaler. They sell it to a local wholesaler. That's West Basin Municipal Water District. West Basin, of course, we're in their service area along with about 25 or 30 other agencies. So that's the imported water side. On the groundwater side, Water Replenishment District of Southern California provides or manages the groundwater basin. That's both the Central Basin and West Basin. Just up above, and I'm sorry that the font is so small, are the four various sources of groundwater or sources of water that go into recharging the groundwater basin. You'll all see it more clearly on your handouts that you have. And so together those sources then are, those supplies are purchased by agencies, retail agencies such as Golden State and others who serve water locally here within the South Bay area. Talked about our customer service area, the area in red, that's our Southwest District service area. My staff and I, in fact one of my staff people is here, David Cathcart. David's my chief distribution operator. David knows every foot of our water distribution system, so if you have any technical questions, please feel free to ask him. But we serve, as I said, we're part of the larger Region 2 area. It's about 175,000 people. All customers pay the same rate, and we'll get into the numbers in just a second here. And you'll see all the cities that are covered by Region 2. As I said, for Southwest, we serve 8 cities, 7 cities in addition to Inglewood. Our service area here, just the area for Inglewood that we serve, combination of imported and groundwater. So our rate structure. Our water rates, the water rates charged by Golden State are the only source of revenue that we use or that we receive to support our ongoing operations and capital improvement costs. Unlike public agencies, we don't have reserves, okay? And all of that's determined and approved by the California Public Utilities Commission. And I'll talk about that process in just a second. We have 2 rate structures. Our residential, we have 3 tiers, basically. First level is from 0 to 11 units. Second level is 12 to 14, 12 to 15, excuse me. That's the second tier. And then the third tier is 16 and above. Each of those tiers is charged a different rate, okay? The non-residential, that's commercial, single tier, flat rate, okay? And so our rate has 2 components. There's a service charge, which basically covers a portion of our fixed costs, which covers about 30%. Those are the costs to operate and maintain our water system, regardless of how much water is used. Every customer sees that charge in their water bill every month, along with their commodity charge or the quantity charge. Our fixed costs, just as an aside, are approximately 70% of our total costs. Our quantity charge or commodity charge, that's the actual amount of water that a customer will use. And that's measured in cubic foot. So 1 cubic foot is about 750 gallons, just for approximation. So who decides the rates? Basically, it's the California Public Utilities Commission. That's whom we're filing our rate case with, and we do go through this process every 3 years. The process takes 18 months, so much longer than the Prop 218 process that public agencies are, that you all may be familiar with in terms of public activities. The PUC encourages all customers to provide input in the rate-making process through written, email, public comments and public participation hearings. These are also advertised on our website. We also send notifications and reminders in our bills to customers as the hearing dates are set so that customers have ample opportunity to learn where and when they can provide their input. And then there's the Office of the Ratepayer Advocates. This is a special division within the PUC that is, they're independent. They're created by the legislature to represent exclusively the interests of utility ratepayers. I know of no other situation, public or private, where you have one entity geared towards looking out for the interests of council members. Thank you. Moving along, this just gives an overview. See the PUC at the top there, the commissioners who, actually let me take you from the bottom. You've got Golden State Water Company. We present our application. Our customers, we provide input, and then the Office of Ratepayer Advocates. Then all of this information is reviewed by the administrative law judge, and there's back and forth and discussions between Golden State and that entity. If everybody's in agreement, then the final proposal is presented to the PUC. All this in a period of about 18 months. So a little bit about average water bills. I mentioned earlier about the average residential usage. That's about 1,100 cubic feet, or about 8,228 gallons. Average customer water bill is $58.52. And this is true throughout Region 2. This is the average amount and the average quantity of water used.
What is it with surcharges?
I'm sorry?
What is it with surcharges?
It depends on the surcharge. So there are several different surcharges that
Why don't you explain those?
That come up. Basically, the concept of a surcharge is to allow the company to recoup money. For example, we're in a situation right now where we're in a drought, so we're selling less water. So one of the types of surcharges that we have is something called a RAM, a water rate. We get to, sorry, I forget the acronym, but we get to basically recoup just the cost of that water that we're not selling, and it's an additional charge that lasts only for the period of time.
So you get to recoup the cost of water that you're not selling?
That we're not selling. It's a rate adjustment mechanism, excuse me. And this all has to go through the PUC, Public Utilities.
But how is that fair? How is it that you get more money for water that you don't sell?
We don't get more money. We just are able to make up that part that we're not able to sell. We project a certain amount that we're going to sell for a period of time. If there's a drought that's going on, then of course we sell less. So we're just simply making up what's already been approved. All right?
That seems unfair to me. So you're not able to sell water, but you get the money anyway?
Only the money that's been approved originally by the PUC at the beginning of that 3-year rate case period.
All right.
Okay.
We don't do that in Inglewood Water, but go ahead.
Understood. No, public agencies don't have that option. So that's
We
something.
can do it anyway. It seems unfair, but go ahead.
Okay. Perhaps I can bring back more information about that, maybe to
Okay.
amplify the answer here, and
All right.
because we have limited time. There are several ways that we help customers manage their bill through water use efficiency programs. Low-income customers can qualify for discount programs through our alternative rates program, and then customer service, high bill investigations, and conservation kits. So first of all, our water use efficiency programs, we offer rebates for clothes washers, toilets, nozzles, regulating sprinkler heads, weather-based controllers. So we partner up with Metropolitan and the West Basin Municipal Water District to provide those rebates. Also, we have turf rebates, up to $1 per square foot, up to a maximum number of square feet if people want to rip out their turf and save water. And there's a website, SoCal Water Smart, for more tips. We help customers that are on a fixed income. Basically, we offer a monthly credit for customers who qualify for our alternative rates for water program. Now, it's real simple. Customers who already participate in the care programs of their utilities, gas, electric, for example, also qualify for Golden State's program. And all they have to do is just submit a copy of their current utility bill. And then again, the qualification is based on the number of people living in the home and the total annual income. Last program, last slide, is certainly in this time of the drought, we are encouraging people to fix leaks. Dripping faucet can waste up to almost 3,300 gallons of water per year. Bathrooms, very water consumptive, as you can see, 75% of the total water use. Aerators help reduce the flow of water. We also encourage folks to install water-saving shower heads, and also encourage folks to avoid watering on windy days. Try to water early in the morning for best results. I'd like to say, in terms of the shower heads, we have this week we're celebrating Fix a Leak Week program, so any customer can come to our office, get a free shower head, get some dye tab packets, and also get conservation literature about other ways to save water in the home or at work. So we'll be sending that information out electronically to all of our customers who receive our email. I'll be happy to answer any questions that the council may have. Oh, you already received that, Councilmember. Thank you, Councilmember Franklin.
How many households do you service in Inglewood?
We serve about 3,900 service connections, which translates into about 14,500 people.
Of the 119,000 that we have?
That you
All right.
have.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
All right. Any persons that would like to comment on any item on today's agenda may do so at this time. Okay, if no one wants to comment, you go right ahead.
I'm sorry.
No problem.
I'm sorry, Council. I want to speak on something finally on this agenda. Parking and services, that's what, guys. Now, I know everything is going on, all the procedures. I know how you all are cutting, and which is a good thing. The only thing I wanted to suggest, do the council feel like you should keep a couple of seniors that knows how to work with the police department and how to do all the processing of the cars instead of bringing in new blood? And do you feel that? Because the reason why is I know everybody, you know, they are very rude for us answering the phone. The women are. I got to say that. But you got one officer that's Sutton. I think he would be a good guy to keep because he might have had flares with some of you all, and I forgave. I dogged y'all, but y'all forgave me. God said, "Giving, you got to forgive." But the man knows his job. Man, the man knows his job. And when the cops have something, you know, the hard thing on traffic and impounding cars, we need to have someone like that won't hold you back or hold your chief back. You know what I'm trying to say? That's what I wanted to speak on. Okay. That would be a good suggestion there.
And I'm sure we'll take that under advisement as far as, you know, maybe some residual staff. We don't know if this is going to occur. If it does, that is something we would consider.
Please, Mayor, and today when I call, I know everything is changing. All of you all doing a good job. You're trying to keep people on payroll. But sometimes it's always the way you handle things. They have the phone, and everybody know me. I call and I go and I monitor a lot of departments and report back to the council, even the outside people. But today I called and I said, the girl answered and I said, well, who is this? You know, like that. Like I would say, oh, who is this? Because I know everybody. And she hung up on me. She said, who is this? I say, well, damn, like that. I say, damn, you the one getting paid. You know, and she hung up in my face, Mayor. Could you find out who that was, please? Please, Mayor. Okay. I've been so nice. I was nice last week. Okay. They hit me last week. Y'all know I held my cool now.
If you just give the sergeant the time that you called, the number that you called, okay, we'll definitely deal with the customer service
Thank you, Mayor.
issue.
Thank you very much. God bless everybody, and happy Lent. Thank you, Jesus. I'm being nice. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Leroy Fisher, the 1st District. I want to ask the question again with regard to finances and your salaries. You know, I will continue to ask this question until I get an answer from some of you as to the justification of such salaries. Your salaries, as you know, are higher than any city in the South Bay. There is no city in the South Bay that gets the outrageous salaries that you do. And in conjunction with that, your staff, is paid some $60,000 or more in benefits. I've got a problem with that, and I've said that many times, and I will continue to say that because I think it's outrageous. And with that, I'm going to go to DR2. You them are proposing to get rid of parking people and bring some independent people in here to take over and supposedly do a better job, or you think that they're going to do a better job. I say to you, and I propose to you again, that if your salaries were not so outrageous, then maybe you could keep the parking staff that we have. And, you brought to us last week that you had these signs and electronic visual things over near the freeway that was going to bring us all these monies. If, in fact, that is true, then, it seems to me that you could continue staff and have staff that would be here to service this city and the residents in this city. I understand that you have every other Friday or so now proposed to have the city open. It seems to me that with the staff that you have, if it were planned properly, that you could have this city open every day of the week that we need for these residents of this city. Anyway, I am sorry that you're proposing to get rid of the parking staff, as you usually do. I guess you'll all say aye, and I think that that's a negative for this city.
Thank you, Mr. Fisher.
Council members, when I look at DR2, I think of all the people who've been here for many, many years and who have served this community for many years doing what they thought was the best that they could. And I think it's unfortunate that we suddenly decide that one department has to go away. We kind of did that with the fire department, which is unfortunate. A little bit differently done, but all because of our unwillingness to look at the budget and spend money, as perhaps the residents of this community have asked. I think that one of the interesting things is that even though a comment was made last week that I should go outside, the speaker outside doesn't work. How much will it cost us to fix that? How much does it cost to fix these little microphones that they work here and that they work when people watch this, wherever they watch it? And yet somehow we've not managed to spend that. I can't imagine it costs nearly as much as some of the other things I've seen us spend money on. And I don't know that sending a proposal or requesting a proposal for parking services is going to meet the needs of this community. If in fact we believe that, I'm not sure why we didn't put out the request for proposal on CS3 and CSA, all the property that is in negotiation in downtown Inglewood. How do we know we're going to get the best option if nobody else knew we were going to possibly sell it all? But I think that that happens very frequently here, is that somewhere along the line someone has an idea and they run without seeing what the impact will be, how they will be perceived to the residents of this community, not necessarily the people outside, because theoretically you're supposed to be serving the residents of this community. And of course, many of those people who do work for us actually are residents of this community. What a concept, huh? I think of that when I think of how many times we've paid people to move into our community so they could work for us. Wait a minute, they already did. And we don't always get our money back in a timely basis. And thinking of that, we have never received any information. Did we ever get our money back from Mr. Kirkley? We don't know. Maybe someone should cover that in a financial report. Because to us, $500,000 would go a long way to fixing little things like this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brown.
My name is Willie A.G., and I live in the beautiful city of Inglewood. If you don't believe me, go to Mobile, Alabama. You'll want to come back here, and you'll agree with me. I want to speak on bills. If you pay people good, they do good work, and they don't steal. That's a plus. That's right. And that's who we got here. These people take care of business. They're working for the public. And it's paying off. Just look around you. This city is moving. I stand at consent calendar. I support consent calendar number 2 and number 3. And DR1, this is another shining star on the hill. The form was the first. This is another star, shining star on the hill. And it'll be lit up soon. Why? Because we got people that's in charge, that's taking care of business. I support these items, and I hope the council agree with me. Thank you very much. Good to be back home.
Welcome back, Mr. A.G.
Gil Matthew, District 4, Mayor and City Council and residents of Inglewood. I hope when you go to the hill for that shining star, bring you some searchlights or flashlights, because it's going to need all the light you can get. I'm speaking in terms of financial condition of this city. Mr. Fields, what is the total outstanding debt at this point of the city of Inglewood with the redevelopment agency and the successor agency?
Mr. Matthew, you always give you a broad field, but this is payment of the bills right now. If you want
I'm talking about payment of bills where it should be posted on the payment of the bills.
Okay, so Mr. Matthew.
Yes.
If you'd like to talk about the overall financial conditions of the city, please come back at the end.
No, I'm talking now. I want payment of the bills, and where is it posted on payment of the bills? Now, I read payment of the bills. Okay, we started out at $1.2 billion. And now I'm asking politely. Now, you're taking my time. I hope you give me a few seconds.
Of course.
Thank you very much. But I'm asking politely, what is the total outstanding debt that we paying? Now, if that's not payment of the bill, that's not financial, then I apologize. So let's go on with payment of the bills in the financial report. And also, let's talk about the payment of bills that you have with the check numbers. Now, you had $7,000 for basketball. General fund money. And you can't put a speaker in here, you can't do temporary repairs for simple things. Where is the priorities? That's the kind of question I'm asking. That's what I'm asking. And I'm asking when you're going to tell people what is the financial condition of the city. I read, okay? Lots of residents read. And they don't come here because they think it's a dog and pony show. Now let me tell you again, Mr. Fields, you're not allowed to talk, okay? So I apologize. Council members, and my council member from District 4, are you solid or you can't speak in terms of your resident? I'm asking questions. Now I'll go to finance, it's on the agenda. Now, I'd like to know a report on the casino, on DR2. That is objectionable. Here you have residents of Inglewood, and you want to replace it with out-of-town people. And you don't have an analysis of a finance report. You don't know what condition you're in. You haven't done the fourth quarter report. and then you almost completed 2 quarters, you don't know what money you have.
Thank you, Mr. Mathew.
No, you took my time, I still have time.
I gave you an extra 15 seconds, that's what we
I
took.
still have 40 seconds.
No, he put a minute on.
Oh, you put a minute. Well, thank you very much. I'll use it.
No, that's the least we can do, so no, you're done, Mr. Mathew. You're done. Thank you.
You know,
you can come back at the end.
you're going to be done too.
Okay.
Very soon.
We look forward to that.
I do. I'm promising,
Mr.
and I look
Mathew,
forward.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Good afternoon, Council. Lynette Lewis, District 4. I just want to make a few pointers on DR1. DR1 is with the club licensures. You know, I'm really partial to this in terms of keeping the card club here because I work very, very hard getting that card club in here. And of course, that I would certainly like to see that we do get the licenses for the card club. But in addition to that, before we do that, I certainly would not want to go through what we did after we got the card club here. We had all these pretty pictures in terms of the police stations and everything that was going to happen here for the people of Inglewood and the 3,000 jobs. Okay, that's why I worked for it, to make sure that our people from Inglewood got jobs in here, but they didn't get it. They didn't get the jobs. They hired other people out from outside of the city in order to get those jobs. I would hope that the card club could be a very profitable situation here if we had somebody that really knew how to run the card club. You know, they didn't run it well, nor did they do Hollywood Park very well. That's why we don't have the horse racing anymore. So I would certainly like to see what kind of jobs that is available for these people when they get the card club. Will they be the kind of part-time jobs that we have over at the forum that we would have for them here? And I certainly would like to see the other entities that are in this without Chris Meany. I met many times with Chris Meany and that group. So that's the other thing. The other thing, DR2, with the parking services. You know, I think that we really would like to keep our people here, but if you did have to go that way, would our people be hired because they are experienced and non-experienced, as you put in this? And I do have a little problem with this little word down here, various people. You know, what does that mean in terms of you're going to take on personnel and various people? What does that mean? I certainly would like to know that, what are we doing with that? And there's another little rumor that is floating around the town, and I certainly would like to ask Mr. Falco, do you have an interest in this contract that's upstairs? Because somebody said your relatives or something is dealing with that, and that you put it upstairs. Okay, just want to clear the rumor. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Hold on a second. Mr. Falco, would you like to expand on that?
Yes, thank you, Mayor.
It was kind of like thrown out there.
Yes, I appreciate that, Mayor. Thank you. I'm not sure where this rumor has begun, but I have absolutely no vested interest, nor does my family or any members of my family, in anything related to any company or any entity that works here or utilizes City Hall other than the City of Inglewood as its entity, which is my current employer and has been for the last 10.5 years.
Mr. Bailey?
Good afternoon, Mayor, City Council, staff. My comments are going to be on DR2. Parking enforcement is, like you guys said, might happen, may not. This is a union part of the city, and as we all know, that unions are in the job. Their number one thing is for their members to get more money, for better life. But when the city is in a crisis as far as finances are concerned, we have to sit down and, you know, and come to a reasonable thing to you know, help the city out. So my thing is, everybody be patient with this we know that there are families that have done this job for years, and the people that are qualified to do this, we don't like to let them go. We understand the experience and you know, the value of these people. And the city is definitely recognizing the awesomeness of these people. But we also have to realize the city is in a financial bind, and we have to work together. You know, the unions, the people, and we definitely understand the sacrifice that these people go through. So those would be my comments for that particular thing. I want to come to the defense of the council when it comes to people coming up here and saying financial things about the city's finance and all this other stuff. My thing is, I gotta have proof that this person that's up here talking about the finance of whatever situation, it's like this. What are your finances at home like when you before you come up here and talk about a whole city? Because that's a whole different finance thing. If you want to talk about city finances, come up here with a PhD and a math degree from some university. Then I will believe the things that you say for any major metropolis or city in the United States. Don't just come up here and just flabbergate numbers. Give me some hard evidence. Thank you, and have a good day.
Woo.
All right, that's a good one.
We'll close public comment on that. Item 1, let's open the Housing Authority and the successor agency as well.
A quorum is present.
CSA 2 and H1.
A warrant register. Move allow for payment of the bills.
Move allow payment. Second.
Madam City Clerk.
Council and agency members Dobson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Chairman Buds.
Aye. Consent calendar items 2 and 3.
Move items 2 and 3. Second.
Madam Clerk.
Council members Dodson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. DR1.
Staff report recommending adoption of a resolution pertaining to the Card Club license request for Hollywood Park Casino Company.
Move items 1, 2, and 3.
Second.
Well, Madam City Clerk.
Council members Dodson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. DR2.
Staff report recommending an ordinance to be introduced, amending Chapter 3 of the Inglewood Municipal Code, expanding the city's authority to use other persons, including qualified and trained private sector companies, personnel for parking enforcement services.
Motion to waive further reading.
Second.
Madam Clerk.
Council members Dodson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye.
And who will introduce?
I'll introduce.
I'd like to comment, please.
Okay, go ahead, Councilman
Before we do
Franklin.
the introduction. First of all, I want to go on record that I do not support the spirit of this item, let alone the content. I have concerns about what is being brought before us. I have gone on record from the last couple of years that this issue came up regarding consideration of outsourcing, and I've reached out to request for management to give accountability, which to this date I still haven't received it. But more importantly, I want to make sure we address what we really intend to do, or this body intends to do, with reference to this particular item where it's identified parking enforcement, regulation, towing vehicles, and traffic control regulations. In the ordinance that is submitted, there's some concerns I have with reference to who does what work and who's responsible to do what. So I want to reference a couple of items with reference to the current body that I'm aware that does this enforcement are employees from the police department, particularly the special enforcement officers. And when I look at the content of this document, it identifies that there's going to be some changes where it's no longer going to necessarily be city employees, but possibly could be outside sources. And when you look at that, I then have to do an evaluation as to what is the current employees doing. And when you look at the language, does this language that what the employees are doing now comport with the modification of the will of this council? So I had a number of issues that I've reached out to the city attorney's office before regarding parking enforcement, parking issues. And then when I look at the language, I still have some concerns of its content being consistent with the current language of the Inglewood Municipal Code, in which I've raised issues before with the City Attorney's Office. And I was hoping that this would be one of the items brought before us that would springboard us to be in consistency with the enforcement of our municipal code versus the convoluted issues of the municipal code. And so I want to shout out a couple of items in particular that relates to the sections that talks about, and I'll use section 3, point 3, where it talks about, in part, that no person or other than the officer of the police department, a person designated by the police chief, or person authorized by law shall direct or attempt to direct traffic. And then it gives an exception when it comes to dealing with the signal, pushing button of a signal, in which would be by the order of the Public Works Department. So I said, okay, Public Works Director. So I said, okay, now I see that the Public Works Director will be working in concert with the chief to make sure that there's continuity regarding the flow of traffic. But then I have the issue involving section 399 of this item, page 7 of the proposal that's been submitted, line items 23 to 27, goes to 28, which reads, whenever this chapter delegates authority to a city official or authorizes action by the city council to regulate traffic upon the state highway, which in any way by state law requires the prior approval, I want to stress, prior approval of the Department of Transportation, no such person shall exercise any such authority, nor shall any such action by city council be effective with respect to any state highway without the prior approval in writing of the Department of Transportation in and to the extent required in Division 9, Division 11 of the Vehicle Code. So I'm concerned. My understanding is that the state highway is Manchester Boulevard, Highway 42. So if in fact we have a disobedience issue, which recently happened at Inglewood High, and that for the welfare of our residents in this community, that our Public Works Director, who used to have that authority, said that we can now block the streets, change the lights, reroute the traffic, etc., that this says, well, wait a minute, you got to get in writing by Department of Transportation, State of California, before you can do that. And I have concern about that. I also raised the issue, and so when we took away the local authority from the Public Works Director as opposed to the Department of Transportation, I have that issue. The other issues I raised with the City Attorney's Office before has to do with reference to the vehicles being parked on the public right-of-way. It says any vehicle that has been parked or stopped or left standing for 72 or more consecutive hours. Mayor, can I have 30 seconds?
Please.
Or 72 or more consecutive hours, that any vehicle that they can be removed. But then when I've dealt with the City Attorney's Office and I look at the item that we have posted currently in the public, we talk about recreational vehicles are prohibited, but they can be there, but they cannot exceed 2 consecutive hours. Not 72, but 2 consecutive hours. And then we also have the section that talks about, my 30 seconds is up, that it's unlawful for any motor vehicle with the attached house, trailer, boat, etc., not to exceed 24 hours at the same location. I think there's just too much mixture going on here to have it just adopted as submitted. And I thank you, Mayor, for your time, and the council. I'm through.
All right. Mr. City Attorney, did you have any comment on that plethora of...
With all due respect, Councilman, I believe we did speak regarding recreational vehicles, which is under a different code. And we also dealt with the code section under the section 12, which is on private property. I do not recall you and I speaking regarding section 3-99, which is the authority of the officers and designated personnel. I do recall we did have a conversation regarding section 360, which is parked over 72 hours. But I believe most of your concerns were, at the time that we were speaking, was regarding recreational vehicles, and at times on another option, another opportunity was on attach and unattached. But I don't have an issue as to whether or not the council as a whole would like me to review Section 360 and 3-69.
You didn't hear it from the council as a whole. Is there anything to prevent emergency direction of traffic in the event of an emergency on any state highway? There's no requirements. You get signatures from the Department of Transportation to handle any traffic emergency. Is that your understanding? Of course not.
I believe Councilman Franklin was speaking as to, when he spoke earlier, which was 3-3, which is on page 1 of the proposed ordinance.
It's 3-99.
Well, I was thinking as to the 3-3, which is saying about the operation of a mechanical push-button signal erected by the order of the Public Works Director. That would just allow any member of the public to push the button and operate the signals. That's what that section is for. As for Section 3-99, as I stated earlier, I'll be more than happy to do so. As a whole, direct them to do so.
Councilman Padilla.
Thank you, Mayor. No, I just want to, just looking at what Councilmember Franklin read on Section 3-99, when it talks about prior approval of the Department of Transportation, I believe that states for, it says, whenever this chapter delegates authority to a city officer or authorizes action by the city council to regulate traffic, again, to regulate traffic upon a state highway which in any way by state law requires the prior approval, and that's the key word, prior, then you need to get authority from the Department of Transportation. But as it relates to law enforcement taking a public safety position, and you gave the example of the school, that does not require prior approval. That's something that's a public safety issue that can be taken care of right away. So I don't think that applies.
But we really need to be clear on this. First of all, any city can regulate traffic within its borders and boundaries that doesn't have some pre-plan on affecting the movement, overall scheme of traffic on a state highway, meaning that you plan to have an impact on the system as a whole. Go ahead.
In regards to the Department of Transportation, I mean, obviously this ordinance is not the first communication we have with the Department of Transportation. They're aware we have a Public Works Director. They're aware we have traffic lights and have had them for however many years, and they are aware we regulate them. And so it's no different than the Public Works Director going out there on a street light and adjusting it for next month versus, hey, there's a activity at the forum, he appoints somebody to do it that day. I don't see an issue here because I'm completely assuming that the Department of Transportation is not only aware that we regulate our traffic on a daily basis, but that under an emergency they're aware we do so.
I'm going to go a little bit further than that. In 37 years in public safety, I have never, ever been asked to get written approval from the Department of Transportation to direct traffic on a state highway or any street. The chief of police can designate anyone that he chooses under our ordinances to direct traffic. So those conflicts that were cited do not exist. And if so, Mr. City Attorney?
I'm sorry.
If so, if those conflicts did exist, you reviewed these materials, is that right?
We did review it.
Did you find any conflicts?
Not at the time.
All right. Okay. I just wanted to make that clear. I have never, ever had to request the written authorization of the Department of Transportation to direct traffic on a state highway, including my 19 years here in the city of Inglewood.
Mayor, may I ask a question?
Yes.
Mr. City Attorney, just for Section 399, and since you and your lawyers reviewed this, why was the a power of authority, says Public Works Department, that's cut in the red, has been changed to Department of Transportation?
That was it being consistent with the other sections that we have, and I can get more information.
That's my question. Thank you.
All right. And so we're on to the next item. A1.
Mayor, were we going to go back into closed session?
Oh,
to discuss?
that's right, so you won't be able to report out yet.
That's correct.
CM1?
Yes, Mayor and City Council, good afternoon. Just want to let the public know that the Faithful Central Bible Church will be holding open enrollment for health care through Covered California and the Affordable Care Act on this Saturday, March 22nd, from 10 to 3 p.m. And as you all know, the deadline for enrolling is March 31st. I also want to take this time to congratulate the Parks and Rec Department that's run by Michael. The Parks and Rec Department recently received the Silver Thermometer Award, which recognizes cities for achievement in meeting the highest standards of providing safe food. So I want to congratulate the department for their work on that and receiving the award. And that's it.
CC1, Madam City Clerk.
Thank you, Mayor. Last week, Thursday, I had the opportunity to sit on a panel for the City of Los Angeles regarding election reform. And the City of Los Angeles is currently looking to make some changes, and that was the reason for the panel, and to hear from other cities to see how they conduct their elections. And we discussed a few topics, primarily voter turnout, alternative voting methods, same-day voter registration, and methods of outreach. We discussed efficiency in vote counting and a few other things, and it was really informative. There was 2 other cities that sat on the panel with me, Glendale and Long Beach. Long Beach is kind of big, so that was like I mean, some of the things that they said, it was really interesting. We're not quite as big as them. They have 238,000 registered voters in that city, and that's not the population, that's the registered voters.
Where is this?
Long Beach.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so it was really interesting. I thought I'd share it with you guys. Thank you. That's the end of my closing remarks.
Thank you. CT1, Madam City Treasurer.
Thank you, Mayor. My name is Deborah Crenshaw. I'm Deputy Treasurer for City Treasurer Wanda Brown. She is away attending a Municipal Market Disclosure Conference, and she just asked me to sit in for her. We have no reports. Thank you.
Thank you. Public comments. Any persons wishing to address the City Council on any matter connected with city business elsewhere considered may do so at this time. But just so you know, we are going to have to go back into closed session. So if you give your public comment now, we will be going back into closed session.
Roy Fisher, the First District. Mr. Falk, I was glad to hear that you did not have anyone represented over there at the Gambling Casino in Hollywood. I can't say that for this whole city of ours and the council and people with regard to nepotism and all the other things that people have going on in here. And I think that you might even know some about it. But we're going with that. I picked this up last Wednesday, Mayor Butts, and it had to do with a meeting that you're going to have to talk about the state of the city. I was really kind of dismayed to see that we had to pay $20 for general admission at the lower bowl seating, $75 for floor seating, which includes a lunch, $700 for a table sponsor, $2,000 or $3,000 for gold opportunities, $2,000 for silver and $1,000 for bronze, and it showed the gold sponsors and the bronze sponsors. I took some time to find out. Carson, when they have these things, they charge $0 for the people to hear what they're talking about. The Chamber of Commerce handles that for the city of Culver City, and they charge $30. The El Segundo, the chamber again handles it, and they charge $50. Gardena, the host city, and they charge $10. Hawthorne Chamber of Commerce hosts it, they charge $50. Hermosa Beach charge $0. Manhattan Beach charge $0. Gardena Chamber of Commerce, they have a breakfast, they charge $40. Santa Monica Chamber of Commerce hosted, $10. Torrance Chamber of Commerce hosted $35. You know, I think it's really a shame that, you know, we should have to pay to hear you talk about the city. And, you know, that goes on for anything that goes on in this city. Even at First District, Mr. Dotson, when you have your meetings at the First Church of God, we have all kind of facilities that we don't have to be fed, you know, by the Church of God or whoever's paying for the food, you know, for you to come and tell us what's going on in the city. You know, I heard from people in this city that the old Safeway building that I've been asking about is now going to be a Dollar Tree, another dollar store in the city of Inglewood. The city of Inglewood is going to have another dollar store called the Dollar Tree. And you don't know anything about that because you didn't know anything about the church going on there in Manchester. You need to try to find out a little more what's going on in your city.
Thank you, Mr. Fisher.
City Councils, Mayor, staff, Aldine Sly, First District. I'm really surprised to hear about this, this Dollar Tree store. Really surprised. I attended a Planning Commission meeting, and that was voted down, so it never came to the City Council, and I'm wondering how it's going to go into effect now. I heard the Cicero quote that you made at the last meeting, at the close of the last meeting. And I listened to it twice, and it perfectly represented the City Council. Turn it around, it perfectly represents you. After the public comments, you regain the bully pulpit and make comments about what the citizens try to impart to you, what their concerns are. And we are referred to as snarling, and that represents an animal, an angry animal. I don't consider myself an angry animal. I don't snarl at you. I try to speak truth to power. I try to represent what I feel as a citizen that I would like for you to do for me and for the rest of the city. So I have no idea what you're going to say about our comments after we're finished. But please, don't denigrate what we have to say and reduce it to a snarling public. We're not snarling at you. We're trying to give you information about what we want you to do for us in this city. We're all frustrated. You take your frustrations out on us because we speak truth to you, and we take our frustrations out on you because we see no results of what we're asking you for. We don't. And you were bragging about the accomplishments, but I'm wondering, all the accomplishments, the forum, the space shuttle coming through Inglewood, what has that done for the citizens? It's put you out there publicly. It looks good publicly, but we still have needs, desperate needs. That's what I would like to see the City Council do for the community. I would love to see that, and then maybe you won't consider us snarling animals when we come up and ask you what you can do for us. Thank you. Theola Gardner, District 1. Of course I'm following Ms. Sly because we have the same concerns. We have the same problems. Also, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say it very shortly. was cute to hear the voice of the record for kindergarten children played. I've played that record many times. My children and many other children have sang that many times. That's for children. You are adults, I am adults. We have adult problems, not children cute problems. That is the way children learn. And as adults, we would like to be perceived as such. So I go to the 10 Commandments of the Bible. Do unto others as you would have others do unto you. That is the first and last statement that needs to be adhered to on this dais. These things have not been done. Ms. Gardner has been abused, but if I say anything about it, oh, I'm rehashing, or it's not true. I have the right to protect Ms. Gardner and what happens to Ms. Gardner, especially when it's done by another adult. I'm personally described to a hit person by a person who's supposed to be leadership of my community. You do things for publicity, but not for genuine concern of community. And it's in that little song goes, you are you and I am me. And that's the way it's supposed to be. I know that song well. Again, I'm going to go back to the 10 Commandments. You do to the community what you expect for the community to do or say to you. And that is a fair exchange. It's a right and godly exchange. And that's where you need to be as adults, not as a cute little children's song.
Good evening, council members. I think you've heard two really important statements today. I want to thank Mr. Franklin for asking questions. Those of us who live in District 4 are pleased that you have asked questions. Those are the kinds of questions that should be made clear in an open forum, like a city council meeting. You know, what's really sad is that as I was looking through things in other meetings I have to attend, unfortunately I wasn't aware as the Caltrans things comes up that no one mentioned, none of you mentioned, that the RTP, Regional Transportation Plan, was sitting before the SCAG. That impacts us. And yet it came, it went, nobody here bothered to tell anyone in this community. One of the communities most impacted as to when it was happening. Don't know. Do y'all know where the 818 building is? Some of us have been there many, many times and advocated for our community. Now, I think it's really interesting that someone had suggested that we need to waste our time telling people our credentials when we come here. I think that anyone who knows us know that many of us have functioned quite well in the world. Some have PhDs, some have run major corporations. We shouldn't have to waste time doing that because we are people who have functionality behind us. Running multi-million-dollar corporations to make the city budget look a little tiny. So maybe, as want-to-be leaders, you should do what those insignificant corporations do and ask people what objections are so that you can overcome them, not take them as a negative, but say, why won't this work, and maybe we can fix it, rather than constantly calling anyone who raises a problem a naysayer. or other negative terms. You see, if some of us see the strategic problem that is happening, it's best that we fix it before you have to have, as in GM or any other car company, a massive recall. Anyone remember the disaster with New Coke? How about the Tylenol packaging? Many of those situations could have been avoided if someone had bothered to say, hey, maybe we ought to consider this potential disaster. And unfortunately, there are those who say anyone who brings up a possibility that needs correction is someone we have to squash, speak ill about, and assassinate by character. You know, it's kind of funny. Cicero was the guy that Julius had to say, come here. No, 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 no. You don't get to assassinate people without a fair trial. Maybe we should look into the history of who it is out there that we look up to.
Matthew, I assure you.
It's tough getting old. Anyway, Mayor and City Council, Gil Matthew, District 4. And my councilman, Mr. Franklin, thank you so very much. I'm really proud of you today. So thank you very much. Now, Mr. Mayor, the Lord give it and the Lord take it away. You gave me 60 seconds and you took away 40. I know some things I don't understand. Okay, but anyway, you're a very interesting young man. And I know all of the kids that went to school with you. They still live up near me and they grew up around there. The same ones, they went to school with you. So I know them and I know you fairly well, more than you think I know you, okay? You came here on a motorcycle with the police department. You were a motorcycle man, right? Giving tickets, running red light, stop sign. So we all know you. You're not a bad fellow at all, and I must say that. You're Inglewood grown. You're not a bad fellow. But here, we got what we call prime time. And back where I come from, you call it jump off Georgia time. You know, where you come to the fork in the road, and you have to decide. You can't go both ways. Anyway, I understand. When I speak of the financial condition of the city, the winding down of the successor agency is a blessing to this city. But you don't understand that. Chicken Little pushing about, oh, the sky falling, sky falling. He won't even say how much we in debt. We've been able to pay it, which is good. Plus, we're going to get more money to the general fund, but you don't recognize that either. And Mayor Bush, you're the chairman of the Oversight Commission. You can't make those decisions without consulting with your legal counsel. You had a quorum and you voted. You only had 4 people present, but you only had 3 votes. Now, if you look at 1484, you can't take no action without 4 votes. But, you know, you, I, and me. All right. Now, you want to know about the audits. The audits don't match, okay? Call Simpson and Simpson up. They will consult with you. 1986, Price Club, tax-exempt property note, $2.7 million, 8% interest, okay? 1994, bonds, $1.5 million, promissory note, 7.5%. That ballooned up to $6.5 million. You want to know where the money went? Ask a casino. They took $17 million on the discount tax table for 6 years. See, you don't know these things and you won't ask. And I still say, where's the money?
Thank you, Mr. Matthews.
You're very welcome, but I'll sit with you anytime, you know, and we'll talk, but neither want to meet either. None of you want to meet.
No, we don't. Mr. Matthews, would you please have a seat?
What, would you meet with me?
No, would you have a seat,
You
sir?
won't meet with me. Okay, thank you, sir.
Not interested.
We'll meet again. When is that gonna come?
I look forward to these intimate settings.
My name is Willie A.G., and I live in the beautiful city of Inglewood. If you don't believe me, go to Mobile, Alabama. I want to say this. Gentlemen, I've listened to many, many times speak here at this day. Mr. Stewart Bailey, you said exactly what I've been wanting to say for a long time. Only you said it better than I would have. Keep up the good work. I'd like to see some degrees myself. Other than up there, there's plenty of them up there. Plenty of degrees, absolutely. I want to say this. I've heard some talk about one of my friends, Councilman George Dotson, one of the finest men I have ever met. I support him 300%. And when I hear people come up here and try and demean him, it makes me angry. I know the reason why they do it. Because that candidate lost the election. And it's time for them to get over it. Councilman Dotson is more than qualified to be councilman in the 1st District. And he's doing one terrific job, just as the rest of the council people. Fabulous. And I want to thank you for it. But let the naysayers keep talking. You keep doing your job. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Isaac Moody, District 1. I just want to know, so there was conversation on like private sector company taking over parking, and I don't really have a clear understanding of that, but I just wanted to know its effect on parking in general, because Inglewood is notorious for that. Parking is a really serious, one of my most serious concerns through the city, and I just wanted to know how it would affect parking and why its residents are having to be forced to park at public buildings like libraries or parks and stuff like that. And then also I'd like to know where you guys are as far as reports on the parking meters, like as far as checking your parking meters to see if they work, because it's like you put money in it and then it still says expired. You still receive a ticket. And then I'd like to know also what the revitalization of the forum and possibility of the lot that the owner of the Rams just bought, what that impact is going to have on the city as far as its finances.
Okay.
Oh, okay. They're going to answer. Oh, okay.
Right.
Good afternoon once again, Mayor, staff, and council. I'm Stuart Bailey from the 3rd District, and my comments will be, I would just like to thank Mr. Agee for his beautiful compliments for me. I would just like to say thank you. But Mr. Agee, I hate to tell you this, but we in this beautiful city have taken a black eye the past week. Our school board has decided they wanted to take some funds and use them in a different way in order for our city and to educate our children. And as you know, we are under receivership, And tomorrow night, I would just like everybody to know that there will be a school board meeting at 7 o'clock at the school board. Everybody come out. Ask your questions to their council and see why that school board decides to take money away from the children that deserve a chance at a bright future that they have promised and took an oath to make sure that these kids can succeed, so maybe one day they can sit up here and do the job that these fine gentlemen decided to do, or these young ladies, or any kind of future, you know, because school is important for everybody, even us adults. We never stop learning until your day you die, I hope. But these are my comments, and thank you. Everybody have a great week.
Thank you.
Ethel Austin, District 2, activist in the city. Now, this is some things that I want to approach the whole council and the mayor about concerning. First thing, I was approaching Vaughn's Market. One of the seniors approached me about the audio system with Time Warner. A lot of the seniors, you know, it's not computer swabber, so Suave, whatever. And they asked me to bring it to the council and the mayor's attention that they really interested in what's going on in the city, but they can't hear. I know Time Warner's got a lot of problems. They done beat us for years. Also, I want to mention about the building and planning. I didn't know about no Dollar Tree. And then the church that Fisher spoke on, the building and planning committee wasn't aware of them. So a lot of things maybe you all should communicate with the planning, because when George was there, we knew a lot of things that was happening. So, George, maybe you should step on that and check into that. Also, I want to mention about the Alex Padilla. I have a request. Someone want to see you, meet with you personally in the district yesterday. And another thing I want to mention is about the quarreling. Who said that word last week? Who called these people quarrelers?
It's snarling. I didn't.
What?
Nobody.
No one said that.
What you referred to is a quote from Cicero, and I said, "Take it as you like." It referred to no one in particular, so it was a quote from Cicero. I don't know if
that's what that was. Okay, because I didn't know what it meant.
So it definitely wasn't meant to include Miss Sly.
But also, you know, on that, I'm gonna say something about that too. When you come up here, I am too. I came and I complained and I did all kind of crapola, and I didn't want to hear what y'all said, so I left. But if you worried about how you stand with this council in the city and you care about this city, then stay and listen. Stay and see what they want to say after the end. You human, they're humans. So if they have something to say and answer back, they got all the rights to do that. We pay them too to inform us of what's going on. I don't think the mayor's out of line, and I ain't in no fan club. And from now on, I've been nice. This is Lent. After Lent, that's it. Now, the fan club that I'm in is do unto others. Now, those people up there are human beings. I come up here, the people that approach me in this city, they say, we wait for you to come up because we don't know half of what people saying up there. And you do come and you break it down to where we can understand as seniors. We don't know what's going on. We just looking to see what the city is doing. And for us to finance, okay, the council know where that money is. All I care about is, hey, I got somewhere to be and I like this city. And I ain't going to Louisiana, because I already know how it looks like Alabama. Another thing, I'm coming as an activist. Could I get a few little more seconds as an activist,
30
please?
seconds.
30 more seconds. And another thing I want to mention was that that Dollar Tree mayor, where is Safeway? Where is it going? I didn't know Family Dollar was here. I didn't know that was coming here. Building and planning never mentioned it. I didn't see it.
Okay.
Check on that, please. And don't forget my complaint.
No, never forget your complaint.
Please. Thank you, man. Thank you, Council. I'll talk to you at the end now.
Lynette Lewis again, District 4. You know, I just want to just make a remark regarding the incident that happened with the school system on last week. I think that was a very inappropriate use of police officers. Those kids decided that they wanted to get out and make to protest something that was going on, but you sent SWAT team in there on those kids and never talked to the principal, the administrator, to find out what was going on with those kids. I think that was a very poor use of our police department. Somebody should have been in contact with somebody. The guy didn't even know that the SWAT team was there until somebody told them that they were in the building. So I would just say that I think our city needs to be able to do a little bit more investigating rather than sending a whole bunch of folk in on some kids. Because I don't know who's in charge or what have you, but it always seems like the city is on autopilot when we have certain things that happen in our city that there's nobody up here that's in charge. So I just want to say that I think that communication with departments and what have you is very, very key in terms of keeping us on point as to where things are. So I also want to share with you with this flyer the other day, because they're screaming it on the computer. And the lady called and asked me, when did City Hall move? And I said, what do you mean, when did it move? He said, our mayor is making a State of the City address, and he's standing in front of the forum. He said, if you're going to do what, shouldn't he be standing in front of City Hall? If he's going to make a State of the City address, should be in front of City Hall. I said, well, I don't know what that is in terms of that. Maybe that's City Hall too. So I'm just saying that sometimes it's how your appearance is put out over on that email situation. You should check it a bit. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, hi, I'm Wild Bill Widener, and Inglewood family. I get something on my mind once in a while. I heard a funny story about our mayor. When he went to the USC or UCLA or something like that, and he was anyway. This other guy was going there, and our mayor had a pair of Nikes, and he may know what I'm talking about here. Anyway, the guy relieved him of his Nikes and walking around in them, and he couldn't find his tennies, I guess. So the point of it is the guy wore a size 9, and I think you were 11 or 12, according to the story I heard. And so anyway, he's telling that story, whether it's true or not. And so that was the time he was a victim. Maybe that's why he decided to become a cop. Anyway. Anyway, on the more serious side, really talking about beautiful city of Inglewood, we need to work. You're doing some things to get us in the right direction, but there's some other things need to be. One of the big ones is the tenants in this city don't have any rights. What I went through over at Osage Senior Villas, some people shouldn't have to go through. And they're working on straightening my situation out and some of the other tenants. But here's the thing, it shouldn't have got to that point. Right now, Senator Mark Leno of San Francisco just got a couple of bills passed up there. One was SB 603, a bill on the deposits from the landlords and so forth. And then another one is SB 290, which is like a 60-day notice. And I guess all places they weren't allowed to do that. And they use this outfit, Dean Preston from Tenants Together, and then Brian Austin from Western Center for Law and Poverty. And anyway, where I'm going with that is the city of Los Angeles, right across the borderline here from us, they don't have the problems that we've got here in the city for that. And when you take the landlords, it happened to be, for me, it was Faithful Central Church, that ran that building. That's not supposed to be out there, but that's the truth. And those that like it, and those that don't. But, you know, I tell it the way it is, and that's the way it is. But, you know, these big wheel, high rollers, whether they're using praise the Lord or what, when they mess over poor people, that's not the way it's supposed to be. It's not good for our city. So think about getting a tenant's rights or some rent control.
Thank you, Mr. Wilder. Okay, we'll close public comment. I'm going to start. Okay, I want to appoint, Council E. Morales nominates, and I appoint Matthew Chien to the Aviation Commission. Madam City Clerk.
Councilmembers Watson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. So let's talk a little bit about answering some of these questions out here. And this is kind of indicative. I'm going to start with Wild Bill's UCLA story. It's kind of indicative of what a lot of us do. We either don't have our facts right or we don't have them in context. I didn't go to UCLA. There's a James Butts that was a triple jumper. He's 2 years younger than me. He went to UCLA. I never had my Nikes stolen. I don't like Nikes. The school disturbance at Inglewood High School, there was no SWAT team there. Ms. Lewis, I know you know what a SWAT team is. There was a mutual aid response that was generated because the call that we got was that there was some disturbance at the school and that objects were being thrown. And what happens is the police respond in force to deal with whatever it might be. There were officers from other agencies that came in support. They didn't enter the school property. They never touched a student. They were there to make sure that everybody went home safely, and that's actually what happened. And so to criticize the police for doing what they're supposed to do, respond, make sure everyone's safe, I don't understand that. And I know you know what a SWAT team is, and you know there was no SWAT team there. Excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me. And now the State of the City address. The State of the City address has forever been held at the Proud Bird in the city of Los Angeles. It's a fundraiser for the Chamber of Commerce. They've always charged. And the criticism we always got was that it wasn't in Inglewood. It's a fundraiser for them, and that's what they do. They sell tables. That's their biggest fundraiser of the year. Now, at least, it's in the city, and instead of having to pay the full amount for a dinner, they've arranged so that some people could come if they just want to hear the state of the city at their fundraiser for as little as $20 or $30. I don't know what that is. So, again, no good deed goes unpunished with some of the people that make this a living to come here to live to criticize. It's always been a fundraiser, and now it's in the city. I think that's a good thing. The ordinance about parking the young man asked about, that only allows the city the option to outsource if it's deemed in the best interest of the city. The meters are serviced by our Department of Public Works right now, and any type of agreement, if there was an outsourcing, would probably include new meters as a capital improvement. Let's see what else we were asked about. No, this is not a dialogue. It's not a dialogue. Let's see. Only allows the option. And I think that, I want to talk about this continual $1 billion in debt. We couldn't even afford the interest on $1 billion. All right, we couldn't even afford the interest. The reality is that the redevelopment agency has obligations. There are bonds that have been let based upon revenues from the redevelopment stream. And now because the state has abolished that, they're responsible for the debt service on those bonds. The city is not. The state now, because we no longer receive those redevelopment payments, they're responsible for retiring all the obligations of the redevelopment agency. Our city, like 171 other cities, have disputes about some of the projects that were financed, and we continue to have those disputes, but that's just life. The one thing that comes to mind is a decision that was made years ago to transfer HUD monies into the redevelopment agency to make the senior center residential. It was deemed a not valid use, so now we have to deal with it. And to criticize the council for having to deal with decisions of the past, I don't understand that. But the reality is we have to deal with it, and we're dealing with it. So all this stuff about show me the money, we produce financial reports every quarter, we publish a budget every year. We have bonds that have been let in the past for capital improvements to this city, bonds for the redevelopment agency, and all those will have to be debt serviced. That the council has no choice, the city has no choice, but to honor the debts that have been made. That's just the way it is. So all this gloom and doom, the reality is we have to deal with the cards we've been dealt, and we've done that very effectively. And that's all I have to say. Any other council comments? Councilman Franklin?
Yes, is this our final comments?
Yes.
I just want to acknowledge over the weekend that I met with the principal at Woodworth Elementary School, and we are geared up for this Saturday to do a beautification of the campus. Our first phase, it's going to be 2 phases. The first phase will be painting. There's a number of areas at the campus that we'll be painting from 9 to 3. Bring your paint gear and come and join us. We'll provide you all the paint and supplies. The following weekend, we'll be back there on the 29th, again from 9 to 3. And on this one, we'll be doing the planting of different shrubbery throughout the campus. The purpose is trying to enhance the atmosphere of the campus, that it is a beautiful place to come and get a good education. And so if you're available for that, please join us. I also want to thank the Monroe Magnet Middle School on their outstanding program they had over the weekend, and it was all about enrollment. They actually had a combination of Morningside High representatives, including they now have a new men's fraternity club from Morningside High that did their STEP Act and did a recruitment of trying to get the middle school kids to go to the high school. They also had the drum group there also to encourage people to get involved in band, and talked about the various options they had by becoming musicians. And then finally, I want to acknowledge that, and I should also finish that the Monroe was promoting children there as well. They actually had a drill team, and the girls did their performances as well. And it was recruiting, getting people to come back to the public schools, in this case middle school. Then finally, I want to thank the Parks and Recreation Department for their library expose regarding Discover Earth. It closed. It was a closing program last week, and there was a number of outstanding speakers that was at Waddington's Gladdy Waddington Lecture Hall. That was outstanding, and I just want to thank the Friends of the Library that helped coordinate and facilitate the event as well. And that is my comments. All of them from 9 to 3. Thank you very much.
Councilman Padilla.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of quick comments. Number one is, don't forget this Monday here at City Hall at 5 o'clock is the American Cancer Society's Relay for Life kickoff event. That's open to anybody that wants to come down. It's it's in preparation of the Relay for Life event that's going to take place at Crozier School on June 7th and 8th. I have a save the date. My town hall meeting is going to be on Thursday. It's going to be a Thursday evening, May the 8th. So it'll be a Thursday night for District 2. And just a quick comment. Somebody mentioned earlier about what good is it to have, to talk about the forum and talk about the shuttle and talk about some other events. And I got to tell you, the reason that we need to talk about it is that folks need to know that there's a lot of good things going on in our beautiful city, so that the folks around will start hearing about the positive environment that we have here, so you don't have to go anywhere else. You can do it all here in Inglewood. And either we're going to put out there what's happening, or we're going to listen to other folks that put some of the negative spin on things, because that's just the way it is. And I'm not talking about the speakers, I'm talking about in general, people out there. But in order for us to let folks know what we're doing, we have to up here talk about it, and we encourage you to talk about it when you're out in the community, talking to your neighbors, your friends, at the local businesses, so the folks will know that we're a destination city now. We're not a city that's just folks are going to go, past Inglewood. We're a destination city, and we got a lot of good things that are here and that are coming to our community. And I just want to thank the mayor for addressing the issue with the school event that occurred with the kids who were protesting and law enforcement's approach to it. And I can tell you, at the end of the day, I had a few parents contact me and thank the police officers for the way they handled the situation. And nobody was injured, nobody was hurt. The law enforcement had a presence, which you have to have when an incident like that flares up. But at the end of the day, everybody, went their way, and folks, we have some lessons learned. There was a comment about communication as it relates to that. And just so those of you that don't know, Captain Sisak from the police department is on loan to the Inglewood Unified School District as their, I believe it's the acting chief position. He communicates constantly and every day with the police department, with Chief Ranarata and the executive staff, so that everybody's working on the same page and that we're looking out for public safety. So with that, I want to thank you all for coming out this afternoon, and thank you for coming up here and letting us know what your thoughts are. Much appreciated.
Councilman Dotson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to start off first thanking all of you for coming out. And I want to give a little good news. This past Saturday, March the 15th, the International Association of Lions Club District 4, L3 in California had their 47th annual community recognition, and I was a recipient of that award for my work with the Lions Club. And if you're not familiar with the Lions Club, it's one of those organizations, it's a national organization, and their main focus is to help people who really can't see. Our club collects eyeglasses, and they're sent to other countries for the use of for those who cannot afford to pay. And we also donate clothing to the Salvation Army for the clothing closet. And that next event is going to be on Saturday, March 22nd at Holy Trinity Lutheran Church. If you'd like to participate, please come out. I also have a save the date. My next town hall meeting will be Saturday, April 26th, and it will be at First Church. That's in my district. Okay? Also, I will also be having another town hall meeting, also in District 1, but it'll be in the northwest end on the 25th of April. So I want to cover my district and make sure that everyone knows what's going on in the district. So thank you all again for coming out, and I'll see you next week.
Okay, and one more thing. Another thing that fascinates me is that some of us, we never think anything that's done is good. The form is bad. We had a lady come up before closed session. She runs Stuff I Eat, and she said that her average daily proceeds from her business went up from $500 to over $2,000 a day some days because of the form. She was very grateful for that. There are a number of Inglewood residents that are very grateful for the jobs that are provided. And there is nothing wrong with having pride in your community. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's some of us, in 3 years, I haven't heard one good thing said about anything the council's been able to accomplish. I find that odd, and I find it at odds with the vast majority of people that I speak to. So there's nothing wrong with being proud of your community. There's nothing wrong with having hope when it has some evidence in reality, and there's a lot of evidence in reality for where the city is going. And so, no, we do want your input, but there are good things happening here. On Wednesday, March 12th, the Inglewood Unified School District lost a long-time and well-respected employee, James Lofton. He was found unresponsive by district staff at Morningside High, where he worked out regularly before starting his day teaching social studies at Inglewood High. Emergency crews responded to the campus about 8:30 a.m. and transported Mr. Lofton to Sentinel Hospital Medical Center, where he was pronounced shortly thereafter. Prior to teaching at Inglewood High, Mr. Lofton, 53, was a principal at Hillcrest Academy, dean of students at Morningside High, as well as an assistant principal at Inglewood High. Grief counselors were made available to students and staff members. When we close the meeting, we'll close it in the name of Mr. Lofton. We're recessed back to closed session. Thank you.